Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we will learn how to install an SQL cluster. We create a SQL cluster for sharing one instance between two nodes, two servers. So if one of the server falls, the instance is still available with the other server. The pre-requirements for SQL cluster is that the virtual machines or the servers should be connected to the domain, and then you can start and create the SQL cluster. In our environment, we have three virtual machines: the Active Directory virtual machine, server 1, and this is server 2. Right now we start to install the features that require for failover cluster. So we install the features on server 1, add roles and features, we click next, choose the server that you are connected to. If I need server 1, I choose in server 1. On that server, we click next. And other features, we need 3 features: .NET Framework 3.5, failover clustering, and multi-path input-output. Then click next. You should specify an alternate source path for the .NET 3.5 installation. I choose the installation media. I insert the installation media to the virtual machine before the ISO, and then when we open that, under sources SXS, we have that. So we have to copy that path from the installation media and specify it as an alternate source. It was here already because I used it before. And then click on install. We repeat about this in the other node as well, on server 2. Next, choosing server 2. Under server 1, click next, and under server feature, we choose .NET 3.5, failover clustering, feature, and multi-path input-output. Next, specify an alternate source path. Make sure that my installation media is inserted here as well. Yes. Okay, and install. Okay, the installation is completed. We should restart the server for applying the changes. So we click here. And we restart. Server 2 confirms as well. We restart the server. Restart. Both servers are restarting right now. Until the server is up again, we're gonna install an iSCSI server here in the Active Directory, because one of the requirements for a failover cluster is that the machines or the server need to use shared disks. So the database, the instance, should be on the shared disks. This is the way that one server can fail and the other server take the charge the instance. So we have to install iSCSI target server. here it says SCSI server. Click on next, next, confirm and install. Here the installation succeeded. We can close it, and then we can create a nice SCSI virtual disk. Let's make sure that both servers is up right now. They are loaded. Okay. So right now we can create the two disks, two virtual disks, one disk for the quorum and one disk for the SQL database. Okay, we choose this. I have a drive for the disk, so I select the volume that I want to use. Click on next. The first disk will be quorum virtual disk. Giga, and it's okay for the site, and gigabyte. And we create a new SCSI target. Target will be server. We should choose the servers that has an access. So I choose them. I choose them by the DNS. Browse. So one on server. Oh, we choose it. Enter just one every time. So this one, and here we'll do the second. Server 2. Okay. Okay. So both servers are here by the type of the DNS name. Click next. Here we don't want to enable authentication, but this is possible. Next, and create this. Now we can close it, and we can create another disk, new SCSI virtual disk. We choose the volume. SQL TV. Virtual disk. 80 giga. We choose the same SCSI target that we have created before. And we create a quorum virtual disk, and then we click on create. Now we should wait until the clearing process end, meanwhile the server is up again. Now the virtual disk status is not connected. It finished the clearing and the initialization process. And right now we can connect our servers to the disks. So we open the run. Open one, iSCSI CPL, and then we enter the IP address of our Active Directory server. This is the iSCSI target in our environment. We connect. Let's try it like that. The target is up. SofNet VM80. Let's edit the target. Maybe we add the IP addresses as well. So address of server and the IP address of server 2. I will edit as well. Apply. Click on OK, and then we try again to connect to the target. Oh, here we connected, we discover it, and let's go to configure. We see 2 disks. Let's connect here as well in server 2, iSCSI CPL. This is the IP address. We can connect, configure, and then we see both disks. Right now we go to the disk management, and we started to initialize the disks. We initialize it to HPT, and then I create new volumes. One volume, let's call it. Let's assign the G letter for this, and this is will be the quorum volume. And one volume we can create for the SQL database volume. Let's finish it. Right now when we open this PC, we see both disks. Okay, here in server 2, we go to disk management as well. Okay, we should refresh it, and then bring it online as well. When we bring online, one of the disks look like the same disk, but the other disk not. Maybe we should connect it again. Let's go. First, we change the violator of the core to G, like it's configured on server 1, and then we should find why we're not connected to the H disk. So go here to volume of disk. Okay, let's try to make it from here as H SQL database finish, and we are formatting the disk here. And when we scan the disk, we see here the same disk. Okay, we can change here the drive letter, change it to H. I want it to be the same in both servers. Okay, right now we open the Failover Cluster Manager. Okay, here on the Failover Cluster Manager, we choose Validate Configuration. We want to validate configuration between server 1 and server 2. This is the server that should be of the 2 nodes of the Failover cluster. Server 2. We click on Next. We'll let it run all the tests, or we can just choose some tests that we are selected. Let's let it run just this test, and then we are validating our configuration. Here we see that all the tests completed. We check the box of create a cluster now using the validated nodes. Click on finish. The cluster name is Failover. Let's call it Failover Cluster just. The IP address 10.0.0.199. Click on this, and right now the cluster is created. Now when it's finished, the cluster is created. Now the cluster is created. We see both nodes is up. In the available storage, we can find and see both disks, the cluster disk 1. This is the available storage, and cluster disk 2 is disk, witness, and core. Right now, we have to install the SQL as a role of that failover cluster. So here, on both server and inside optical drive of the SQL server, SQL server, right now here I have the SQL server disk. I open it, open the setup, this take a while. Here we choose installation, and then we choose new SQL Server Failover Cluster installation. We can enter here the product key, or choose the free edition and choose the developer edition. Save the licensing terms. Here I don't want to use Microsoft Updates, but if you want to, you have to check the box. Let's click on Next. Okay, here the installation completed. We can click on Next. Sorry, not the installation, the preparation for the install. Here I just want to install the database engine services. Click on Next. Here we should configure the configuration, the instance configuration. This is the instance ID. We can use named instance or default instance. Here I choose to use the default instance, and let's call it cluster instance. Let's call it SQL instance. Click on Next. Here we see the cluster resource group, we see the disks and the cluster group. Let's click on Next. Cluster disk selection. It automatically choose the disks that are available for store data. And we have to click Next. We have to configure an IP for our cluster. So I choose the IP address 10.0.0.200. You have to choose an account to run the SQL. I don't create a special account for this, so I use the administrator account. and enter the password, and here administrator account and enter the password. I choose mixed authentication here in the database engine configuration. I add the current user and I create a password for the SQL admin as well. Then I click on install. Right now the installation here is completed, we can close it. And when we open the Failover Cluster Manager, here when we open it, we should find that there is a role under the cluster. This is the role SQL Server, and it's installed on server 1. Right now we should install the SQL server here as well on server 2 on the other node. We choose this PC. We go to the SQL setup, click on setup. Here we choose installation and add node to SQL Server Failover Cluster. We choose the developer free edition, license term, I accept the license terms. Click next to the Microsoft. Here we click next on the node role. The cluster node configuration, we click next. We make sure that the box is checked and click on next under cluster network configuration. In the service account, we should enter the passwords of the user that we are choose when we install the SQL Failover Cluster. Then click on next. Now I'm ready to add node page. Click on install and wait until the installation is complete. Now the installation completed here as well. Server 2 and the SQL instance can be on both servers. We can use it. Just a minute, we can refresh it. Here and then we can move this from node 1 to node 2 to remove the row. That's it. This is the installation process of Failover Cluster Manager and SQL Server Manager over Failover Cluster Manager. Thank you for watching.